Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be diving into the wonderfully small world of microcars.
Mhm.
Our source material paints this really vivid picture of a mobility revolution, and it positions these tiny vehicles not as novelties but as, well, highly engineered solutions to this crippling urban congestion crisis that we're seeing everywhere.
Yeah, and it's such a necessary conversation because the pressure in major cities is just immense.
Right.
We're talking gridlock, pollution. I mean, this conflict over land where these huge vehicles take up so much space they just don't need.
All for one person driving to work.
Exactly. And that pressure is forcing this fundamental, non-negotiable shift towards smaller, more sustainable and electric transport.
And it's an exciting movement, but it's interesting. Yeah, the microcar concept itself isn't totally new.
Not at all.
We saw the original wave back in the 50s and 60s. I think everyone pictures the Peel P50, that little three-wheeled thing.
Right, the gasoline-powered ones. I mean, the concept is a bit of a retro callback for sure, but the modern execution is completely different.
How so?
Well, the old ones were a necessity, born out of post-war frugality. Today's microcars are driven by electric power and, frankly, environmental urgency. They give commuters what they're demanding now: convenience, a tiny environmental impact, and a price that actually makes sense for short city trips.
Okay, so let's unpack this new landscape then. I mean, these modern innovators didn't just appear out of a vacuum.
No, they were pioneers.
The Renault Twizy was a big one, right? It sort of prepared the market for something that was less than a car. And then came the Citroën Ami.
Which is just wildly accessible. It's still gaining massive traction purely because of its price point.
Yeah.
But what's fascinating is the ideological shift here. Merlin Oboter, he's the co-founder of Microlino, he really stresses that we have to have a paradigm shift.
Away from bigger and heavier.
Exactly, away from the growing size and weight of modern cars. I mean, most car trips are just one or two people going a very short distance.
Yet they're doing it in a massive SUV.
It's a complete mismatch, just incredibly inefficient.
And that inefficiency, I guess, opens up the market. So if you're exploring this trend, you realize pretty quickly there isn't just one solution.
No, the market is really segmented.
Yeah.
You have the Spanish-made Silence SO4 nano car, for instance.
Okay, what's their angle?
The SO4 is all about practical urban commuting, top speed of about 52 miles per hour, 92-mile range. So it's perfectly capable.
What makes its hook?
Its innovative core is the removable, swappable battery system.
Ah, okay. That's a huge deal for apartment charging.
It is. You can literally pull the battery packs out, they're on wheels, and roll them into your apartment to charge.
That sounds amazing for getting people on board, but I have to ask, does that create, like, standardization issues or infrastructure hurdles?
Yeah, that is the critical point. Right now, battery swapping tends to be proprietary.
So it only works for their system.
It works best in a closed ecosystem, like the one Silence is building. For the average consumer, it really requires a big investment in swap stations, or you're just charging these big packs in your home.
A bit of a trade-off to watch them.
For sure.
Okay, shifting gears a bit, we have the Eli Zero, which carves out a much more modest niche.
A much more modest one. The Eli Zero is what's called a neighborhood electric vehicle, or NEV.
So the name says it all.
It really does. It's for low-speed, short-distance trips. It tops out at just 25 miles per hour, range is about 60 miles. It's not for highways.
You'd expect something that limited to be completely bare bones.
And that's the surprise. The sources point out it has air conditioning and power steering.
Really?
Yeah, it shows they understand the user experience. Even for a 10-block trip in the summer, comfort is king. They've prioritized the quality of that micro commute.
That is interesting. And finally, there's the Italian-designed Biro.
Vero is all about customization and access. They have all these variations, from a stripped-down single-seater to a two-seat big model.
And they do something different with ownership, right?
That's right. In Italy, they have a membership program. For a lot of people, especially younger urbanites, owning a vehicle outright is just a headache they don't want.
Insurance, registration.
All of it. So Bidro offers mobility as a simple service. It really appeals to that sharing economy mindset.
So we've got battery swapping, high-comfort neighborhood cars, and mobility as a service. It's clear the market is trying a lot of things, but our sources really spend the most time on one specific model that seems to be hitting a global nerve: the Microlino.
The Microlino is the headliner for a reason. It perfectly blends that nostalgic charm with some really serious engineering.
And the look is just undeniable. It's a direct homage to the 1950s Assetto bubble car,
It is. It has that dome shape and, of course, the famous front-opening fridge door.
which isn't just for style. It's actually super functional, which we'll get to. But first, the engineering, because this is the real aha moment.
Absolutely. The Microlino is not classified as a conventional car. This is the central fact that dictates everything.
It's a quadricycle. We mentioned that L7E classification earlier, but for anyone who needs context, what does that actually mean?
Great question. A quadricycle is basically a vehicle that's limited by weight and power. The L70 classification means its unladen mass can't be more than 450 kilograms.
Which is incredibly light.
It's tiny, and by operating under L70 rules, the manufacturers can bypass the extremely stringent and expensive safety regulations required for conventional cars.
So lower regulatory hurdles mean lower R&D costs, faster to market, and a lower price for the consumer. But that begs the obvious question, how safe is it?
And that is the critical compromise. But the sources show the designers really tried to mitigate this. The Microlino is the first vehicle in its category to use a unibody safety cell.
Made of steel and aluminum, not a tube frame with plastic panels.
Exactly. Most competitors use a tubular chassis. The unibody is far more rigid, so it distributes impact forces more like a conventional car.
That's a huge leap for this category. They didn't have to do that.
No, they didn't. They also upgraded to an independent McPherson suspension, which gives it that agile, responsive, almost go-kart feeling that's great for the city. It's Swiss engineering, but it's handcrafted in Turin, Italy.
Okay, so let's talk about the payoff of all this, urban practicality. Let's start with parking.
The Microlino is just over 2.5 meters long. That means it can park transversely sideways in a normal parallel parking spot.
It only needs about a third of the space.
Barely. And suddenly that fridge door isn't a quirk anymore.
Right. It's the main feature.
Precisely. You park nose in, open the whole front, and you just step out directly onto the sidewalk. No more squeezing between cars.
It's such an elegant solution. Okay, powertrain, what's it got?
It's a 12.5 kilowatt electric motor. It can get up to 90 kilometers per hour, which is about 55 miles per hour.
Plenty for city driving.
More than enough. And acceleration is snappy for what it is. 0 to 50 kilometers per hour in 5 seconds.
Yeah, and the range options, what are we looking at?
They offer 3 battery packs. The base one gets you about 91 kilometers, the mid-range around 177, and the big one pushes it up to 230 kilometers.
Okay, that's pretty substantial for a city vehicle.
It is. And the sources confirm they're LFP batteries, lithium iron phosphate, which are known for being stable and long-lasting.
And charging is simple, right? No complex setup.
Dead simple. They describe it as charging like a smartphone. You can plug it into any standard household socket, and it's full in about 4 hours.
But there's no fast charging capability.
Correct.
Why skip that? That seems like a strange omission.
It's a very strategic choice. It goes back to the quadricycle classification and the use case. Fast charging adds a lot of complexity, weight, and cost.
All things they're trying to avoid.
Yes, exactly. Since this is for daily city use where you'll plug it in overnight, fast charging just isn't necessary. By cutting it, they keep the cost down, the weight low, and the whole system simple.
Every design choice serves the mission. Okay, what about inside? It seats 2 adults. What about storage?
It has 230 liters of trunk volume.
Which is hard to visualize.
Well, to make it relatable, the sources happily note that this is enough space for, and I quote, exactly 3 standard beer crates.
I love that. That is the most European metric for practicality I have ever heard.
It is. And they haven't skipped modern features either. You can get optional air conditioning, and there's a new connectivity pack for smartphone integration and over-the-air updates.
So the core Microlino is clearly working, but the company is also expanding its appeal with different versions.
That brings us to the Microlino Lite, and this is where that L classification framework really unlocks a huge market.
The Lite is an L6E quadricycle, the light version.
Right. Its power and weight are even lower, which restricts its top speed to 45 kilometers per hour, or about 28 miles per hour.
And what's the regulatory jackpot there?
Accessibility. In many parts of Europe, a vehicle limited to 45 kph can be driven with just a moped license.
Which means kids as young as 14 could drive one?
Exactly. It targets teenagers, older drivers who've let their full license lapse, anyone who doesn't want the hassle of a full car license. It's a car for people who can't or don't want to drive a car.
A very smart way to broaden the market.
Absolutely. Then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have the Microlino Spiagina.
The little beach car.
It's a limited edition convertible.
Yeah.
It's all about that classic, relaxed summer lifestyle. Think vintage Fiat Jolly.
So open sides, fabric roof.
Yep. It's a pure lifestyle statement. It ensures the microcar isn't just seen as a utility box, but as something genuinely fun and desirable.
So let's connect all this back to the listener's wallet. What's the fundamental value proposition here?
It really comes down to the total cost of ownership, or TCO,
Hmm.
and the sources have compelling data on this. They show it's over 50% cheaper to operate than a conventional vehicle.
Okay, hold on. That's a huge number. We have to break that down. Where do those savings come from?
It's primarily three areas. First, insurance and tax. Because it's a quadricycle, insurance premiums are way lower. Registration and road taxes are often half or even less.
Less to break, less to insure.
Pretty much. Second is energy and maintenance. Tiny battery, so it uses far less energy. And there are very few complex moving parts, so maintenance is minimal.
Okay, and the third?
Hidden urban costs. Think about parking. In many cities, microcars get reduced parking fees, sometimes even free parking. They can avoid congestion charges. It all just compounds.
And the strategy is clearly working. They're already the market leader in Switzerland for the L70 category.
And now they're going global. The sources confirm they're looking at Asia, at those congested megacities. They're planning to launch in Malaysia in 2026.
Which shows this isn't just a European problem, it's a global driver for this kind of innovation.
It is. I mean, this whole deep dive shows a perfect storm of policy, engineering, and just pure necessity.
And they are successful, as you said, precisely because they're not cars.
Exactly. They embraced the quadricycle classification. They optimized for the 95% of trips that are short with one person, and they achieved lower weight, lower cost, and higher accessibility. They're operating outside the regulatory prison of traditional automotive design.
That flexibility is a powerful weapon. Now, the makers often position the Microlino as the perfect second car, maybe to supplement a bigger family SUV.
A cautious positioning.
Right. But here's the provocative thought for you to carry forward. If city governments keep restricting larger vehicles, and if those TCO savings become truly irresistible, will the microcar stop being just a second car?
Will it instead become the primary driver of vehicle design innovation worldwide? I think the question for you, the listener, is personal. Given the immense cost savings and the open convenience these vehicles offer, how much size and speed are you actually willing to sacrifice to improve your commute and reduce your environmental footprint?